Joining us now from two different cities are Danita Chantel and Carlo Mendez. Welcome to you both. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. What about yourself?
Very fine. So I'm in New York. Danita, where are you calling in from today?
Hey, I'm calling in from New Jersey.
Hello. And how about you, Carlo?
Calling from Los Angeles, California.
I love it. I love it. East Coast, West Coast, and in between. Thank you for introducing us to your guest. Tell us why you wanted to interview Carlo on our show today.
Oh, I was able to come across Carlo's great acting chops when I watched a film called Bad Dad Rehab. And I said, who is this hot gentleman who's up here? I think I've seen him on Parks and Recreations and a few other shows. And I said, well, he's one to watch. He's been in this industry for a long time, but his last role was really impressive when I saw him, like I said, in Bad Dad Rehab. So he's an actor and producer, and I'm happy that you took the time to meet up with us, Carlo.
No, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. This is part of the fun part of the job, to do these interviews, talk, and just, get out there and talk about things. I love it. Thank you so much for having me.
So you said you were working last night. What project are you currently working on, Carlo?
So last night, two jobs. My acting job that I do, and then I bartend at night. So last night I had a little gig that I bartended. So that's the thing, until you become either a working actor or you can just be steady working as an actor. I like hustling and like doing something, so I'll work as a bartender because I've been doing it for a while. So it's kind of fun. So even the day that I don't have to work for money anymore or anything like that, I'll probably still do like little bartending jobs because it's just so much fun. You meet people, and depending on the event and the venue and stuff like that, it's so much fun. So last night I did have to bartend a little bit, a small little private party, but it was a lot of fun.
I love that. It's like live theater, right, Danita? It's like bartending
Yes.
seems like you're there with the public, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and that goes to speak about how humble he is. You know what I mean? Like most people get to Hollywood, they get projects under their belt, and they're like, oh no, I'm not going to keep my side hustle. But that's something that, resonates a lot with Carlo's character about, acting and still keeping that side hustle. Now, Carlo, I had a question for you. What type of acting do you like best? Is it comedy? Is it drama? Like, which one do you seem to like?
See, that's a very good question. Drama's easy for me to get into. It's easy to be just mad and just and all that stuff. What I really love is comedy. I love being goofy. I love the comedy aspect of things because to me, there's nothing more beautiful and amazing than to make someone laugh. Just that joy you get from seeing somebody smile and laugh is amazing. Like some of my favorite actors in the comedic world is like a Robin Williams, may he rest in peace.
Yes.
A Jim Carrey, Will Ferrell. It's like there's just something about when somebody can make you laugh. There's no sadness there. I love it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. When you make somebody laugh and you can't be sad. You can't be sad and laugh at the same time. I mean, you could, but at the moment you're laughing. At that very moment, I don't care if it's 5 seconds, you're not sad for those 5 seconds you're laughing.
And I know that you must have had some great laughs behind the scenes at 90210 playing Eduardo. What was that experience like for you, that role? It must have been so much, it looked like it was so much fun.
It was fun, but I'll tell you this. I think that was the first actual theatrical audition I had, and I booked it. But, they cut my part out of 90210. I remember the producer talking, they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, Carlo. It just didn't fit with the scene and everything, so they cut it out. So it was a fun, great time behind the scenes with the cast members and stuff like that. But it was just one scene. But yeah, they cut it out. I've never seen it.
That I can't believe that you just shared that with me. It reminded me early on in my career too. I was on the last episode of Mad About You, which was way back when. Okay.
Wow.
And so I spent the entire day, Carlo, and Danita, in this really fancy car, super fancy, and it was going into the future, and it went up and it went down, and I was like the first car of the funeral procession. And we filmed it at Planting Fields. It was a 12-hour day. And I was in the first car, right? So we're going around the same loop, around the same loop, around the same loop. And we're like, okay. And they're like, yeah, we think we got it. We're not sure. We're not sure if we got it. Okay, we think we got it. I called everyone I knew. Like, I'm talking everyone. Kids I went to kindergarten with, my dad. I'm like, okay, tune into the last episode about Mad About You. I'm going to be on. I'm so excited, right? Everyone I knew tuned in. All of a sudden, the episode's over. I get a call from my father. He goes, babe, he goes, I don't know. And I said, what do you mean you don't know? And he goes, did you watch the segment? I'm like, yeah, I know. He goes, if I sneezed, I would have missed you. And I said, you could barely see me. I was just like this shaded out little character in the back of the main characters. But it just goes to show you that sometimes we film all day, we do great work, and then sometimes we just end up on the cutting room floor. But I'm glad that you still had fun working with that crew and that team.
Yeah, it was still a lot of fun, and let me tell you, it's happened to me like 2 or 3 times, and it's gotten to the point where I'm like, oh my God, is it me? Is it my acting? But it isn't. You can't take it personally. It happened to another film that I did, where in the second half of the film, I was one of the main characters, or I was with one of the main characters, and throughout the whole second half of the movie, and it just again the flow of it didn't work, so they cut me out. And the producers told me the day before the red carpet premiere.
Oh.
And you can see all you can see at the end of the film is just a piece of my elbow in it. And I was like, oh my God. But it happens. This happens to big stars. It happens to Ethan Hawke and other actors where they just end up on the cutting room floor. And it's nothing personal. It just doesn't go with the flow of the film depending on the movie or so. So yeah.
Maybe even
But
producing.
you did make it
Yeah. Go ahead, Danita.
Well, you did make it a past the cutting room floor on projects like Bros and The Rich and the Ruthless. Like, how do you prepare for some of those roles? Like, how has that helped you up until this point? Because you're still booking roles. You worked during the pandemic. So talk to us about that.
Thank you so much. I have a different approach. I just, a lot of the things I get, if it's, depending on the role, I'll have to do research on depending on what it is. If it's usually comedy, I just watch a lot of, comedic films or try to, look at the actors that I love and just kind of take something from them. Same thing with, dramatic roles or so like that. Bros, a friend of mine, Maylin, wrote it, and she kind of just based it up how guys are. So that for me was kind of easy because I see bros all the time, grew up with bros and stuff like that. But really just depending each role, it's very specific and very different. So depending on what it is, I have a different way I approach it, but always doing research, reading, watching other movies, getting ideas, and then I just make a backstory of it and just kind of like create something fresh for myself to get in that character or be that character, however it is. Yeah.
And growing up, were you the type of person like in the neighborhood where you guys would like get together and do fun things, like do fun skits or, put on like certain little shows for your neighborhood? That's what I would want to know.
So, believe it or not, I was, like I said, I was born in LA, raised in Miami. I've always wanted to be an actor, but living in Miami, there was nothing there. It was there was no acting world. It was more for Spanish and stuff like that. So I grew up with an fixation of fixated on movies. And since I was a very rambunctious child, I used to get punished a lot. So I would have to use my imagination in my room, pretending that I was in a movie, saving somebody or doing something. So it was a lot of it was in my imagination. Then when I got with my friends, we just played out, riding bikes and stuff like that. But I never had that thing of like with other friends, let's put on a play. I wish I would have been able to do that. So at least that part I didn't have. But I did do a small little play in high school. And I remember it was just really small. It was like a court little drama thing for class. I can't remember exactly what it was. And that's where I was like, oh, wow, I can actually do this. I can perform. And I loved it. And that's where it even grew more for me to be like, okay, wow, I like this. And then once I graduated school and stuff like that, I was like, all right, I think it's time to make that move to California and pursue acting full time.
Right. Has your family been very supportive, or like what is your relationship with them like?
Yeah, no, they've been very supportive. I have a sister who's an actress as well. She's been very supportive. My mom, my dad, everybody, they just see the passion that I have and that I've had a small little successes or little climb up to in this industry. What people need to realize is this is not an overnight success career. This
No.
is a career that it takes years and years and years. You could be in it for 20 years, and then on that 21st year, you will see the success. This isn't like any other kind of career where you can go to school, study, graduate, and then become it. There's no guarantee in this industry. So you're always just that one audition, that one opportunity away from becoming the actor that you want to be or having the career that you want to be. You got to keep going because there's a lot of dry spouts here in this career, in this entertainment industry, not just as an actor, but as a musician or producer and everything else, writer, director, all that stuff. You just got to keep going. So it's, but thankfully they've all been very supportive because they see my passion. They see that this is the only thing I'm good at. I don't know if I'm good at anything else. So they're like, yes, go for it. There's nothing else you can do, so just go for it.
Well, with your bartending experience, maybe they would remake Cocktail. And it would be like, the Tom Cruise role, Carlo, could go to you, right? I don't know. What's your favorite when you're when you're a mixologist, right? What is your favorite drink to make? And I'm sure you've like tried out some material on the people at the bar, right?
Yeah. So there's a few different drinks. There's like depending on what you like, but there's like an old fashioned, but we make it with rum because I work at a rum bar. There's a dark and stormy that's lime juice, ginger beer, dark rum. There's another one that's got rum with raspberries in it and lime juice and pineapple. It's delicious. It's called Sexy Wajita. Mojitos. I love making mojitos. So yeah, I think it's a fun thing to do because before bartending, I used to work at Home Depot, and then I used to work in retail, and I used to work at Sears. Nothing wrong with those jobs, but they're boring. They're very boring. So it's like watching paint dry. It was boring. So when I got the opportunity to start bartending and being that, I was like, wow, this is fun.
Yeah.
You know, music, you talk to people, you kind of become a therapist. I've learned so much being a bartender. So I've learned so much about myself and other people and the way you observe. And it's great as for an actor, I think it's personally great because for a couple of reasons. One, you get to see and observe people, and I love people watching. Two, the hours of it works out very well because you work at night, but you can always be acting during the day or doing auditions. Working at Home Depot and Sears and retail jobs impossible because you're working during the day most of the time.
Absolutely.
But yeah, those are my drinks. I'm sorry, I go off the hinge a lot. But
No.
Yeah, those
It's
are some fun drinks.
It's important because hospitality is theater. And it's also a good opportunity for you to meet and to work on character development. Because I'm sure, like you said, comedy, right? Yeah. So comedy is the ability to take an everyday situation and put a little twist on it, just like a drink, right? And, who knows, 100%. Maybe you're going to want to start doing some more stand-up and, there's many different things that are going to be happening along your journey, just like for Danita and myself. And I'm excited to know you. I think you're just rocking it. And the other cool thing, the other cool thing about this time right now is that it gives us an opportunity to all be a little more reflective, to take inventory of ourselves and our health and our mindfulness, and to take a step back. And when you said you can't imagine yourself doing anything else, then that's when you know that you're right in the zone. So kudos for you. That's awesome.
Thank you so much, Donna. I appreciate those words. Yes.
It's fantastic. So I know you have a few jobs that you did complete. Are you able to talk about them just yet, or the projects that you worked on, or is it too soon?
Well, no, there's a couple. There's one that I shot in Vegas. I can't talk too much about that, but it's like an action kind of movie that's fun. Yeah. They're trying not to spill too much of it and stuff like that. And then there's another one that I shot. It's like it's a scary one that takes place in Mexico, even though we didn't go to Mexico, but it takes place in Mexico, but comes back to California. And it's kind of like a haunted, it's a haunted house, but it kind of like tricks you because you think one thing throughout the whole movie and then you realize, oh my God, what's going on? And it's they don't want to, me to have any spoilers about it. But yeah, those two projects that I'm excited about will be coming out in a few months or possibly by next year by the time it's done editing and everything. So, and then just, that's it. And then just, continue auditioning. I'm working on my own project. There's one called Ricky and Martin Bounty Hunters, where it's so me and my friend came up with this idea of a show of bounty hunters, scripted one, which there isn't any, unless it's come out recently, but there isn't any. We came up with this a couple of years ago. So we're developing it, writing it right now. But it's a comedy about one rich guy who gets kicked out of his house because he's rich, and his dad is like, "Hey, get a job, you bum," and he's trying to live off his father. And then the character that I play kind of like almost myself, where I'm an actor still living at home. My dad's a cop and he wants me to be a cop, but I don't want to be a cop. I want to be an actor, but I'm just down on my luck where I just don't get anything. And then they come together and they arrest or they turn in a guy they get a reward, and then they become bounty hunters from there. So it's like a funny take on on a Lethal Weapon, but like kind of like Latino version of it. But yeah, it's something that we're in the works, and it's looking good.
Well, it's exciting. Your energy, your spirit, and your tenacity exudes when you converse about all of the wonderful things. And like I said, when I saw Bad Dad Rehab, I had to check out who is this guy? But thank you so much for your time. Yeah,
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for that. It's like, you know what? I have a little confession. I still haven't seen Bad Dad Rehab.
Well,
yes,
I think that's what you need to see tonight. That's your homework, Carlo.
I'm going to.
That's your homework.
You know why? It's so hard to watch myself on screen. I have to be honest. It's so hard for me to watch. I want to see the movie because I want to see all the other actors, and I know everybody else did an amazing job. But I'm just when I see myself, I cringe, and I'm like, all right, I know I have to watch this. I've been putting it off, but I'm going to watch it.
Okay, so that's a confession. Actors don't like to watch themselves back because you're going to be the worst.
A lot of actors don't.
Yeah. But you did a great job, though.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you for joining us. Danita and I really enjoyed talking to you today. And hopefully when you can talk about those other projects, we would love to have you back. Right, Danita?
Yes.
Yes, of course. Please.
Okay. Happy journeys.
Love to be back again.
Happy journeys to you until we all meet again. Okay. Be well, my friends.
Yes. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Thank you.